joining me. I'm just going to check that my volume is okay. I'm still getting people on YouTube telling me that the volume is no good. So if you're listening on YouTube, please let me know and pop something in the comments. I don't know what else I'm going to do, but I will definitely try to do something if the volume over there isn't as good. So if you're watching live or watching a replay on Facebook or YouTube and you think I could probably do something a little bit better, please let me know. I'm always wanting to improve. But anyway, I'm not actually sitting at my desk at the moment. I'm just trying to find my live thing here somewhere, and then we can get started. Today I've started my month of Blessings of Home, or the Home and Heart bundle. I'm doing it all month, doing it more of a penance to myself because it's one that I hadn't actually touched for a long time. So I'm going to be using it all month to try and get some use out of it. I hate buying bundles and kits and things like that and not using them. It just seems such a waste. So this bundle will actually be the focus of my product class this month. So I do 2 classes. For anyone who doesn't know, I do 2 types of classes each month. I do a fun fold class, which you can use any stamp, any sentiment, whatever you want on it. All you need to provide are your own sentiments and your adhesives. And I do a product class which is based on a specific bundle, and this is the bundle I'm going to highlight this time round. So this is the card I'm doing for you today, and just as a bit of a sneak peek, this is a version that we're going to be doing during the product class. So if you like what you see today and you'd like to make your own, please look out for when I launch the product class, and you will be able to do your own version of this one here. So well, actually 2, because if you buy the class you get two cards. So it's a really nice bundle, and I do feel quite ashamed of myself for not touching it until now. So as I say, this is the card we're going to do today. It's a pocket card fundamentally. It's got some nice decorations on the outside, as you can see, and then you pull out and you have more. It just gives and gives. There's more that you can do on the inside. I realise you could put your personal message on there if you wanted to, or you could turn over and pop your personal message on the back. Sometimes you do make these beautiful cards, but you don't leave anywhere for the person to actually write their message. So anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. And so thanks for joining me for that. So I'll just pop everything aside. I've got most of it cut, and I do have to do a little bit of colouring, and that's something that I wanted to show you as well. My colouring in method for this one is a little bit different to usual. So we're starting with the pocket itself, sort of the part, the slip that goes on the outside. And I've kept this very, very simple. I'm sure you could do lots of elaborate folds and tucks and nicks and things like that, but this one I'm keeping exceptionally simple. And all I've done, and you guys know me that I hate to waste cardstock, so basically this is just a full width of an A4 piece of cardstock. So you can get 2 of these out of 2 of these particular pockets out of a single piece of cardstock. So it's 8 1/4 wide, it's 5 1/2 long, and I have scored it at 4 inches, which is I'll start from that side, 4 inches from that edge, so 4 inches there, and then at 8 inches there. And that leaves that little tiny 1/4 inch tab, which is what we're going to be putting some adhesive on and sealing it up to make our little pocket. So I think you could probably, if you were keen, make that a bigger tab by actually cutting more of a piece of cardstock. But as I say, I like to minimize my waste, so this works pretty well for a full half piece of cardstock. So what I'm going to do is on that little tab, I'm just going to pop some double-sided tape. Thankfully my 1/4 inch 6mm double-sided tape fits perfectly along that little tab. And then to give it just a little bit of a seal along the bottom, I'm just going to run it along the bottom as well. So as I say, I'm sure there are lots of different templates out there for pockets that are a little bit more elaborate, but I think this is going to work just fine. Well, I know it is because I've made a few of them already. So that's our bottom seal, and I'm going to take the double-sided, the backing off this one. and then fold that over. And this is as simple, our little pocket. There you go. Can't get much simpler than that. So we do need a little sort of access point so that we can actually get the little insert out. And to do that, I'm just going to grab my tailored punch, which is always somewhere close at hand. My tailored tags punch. Just going to grab the open end of our little pocket, open it up, just pop the slightest bit through, make sure it's as central as I can. Just pop a tiny little nick just in that. Make sure it's the right end, just in that end there. And that's going to allow us to get our little central card out. I'm just going to poke its little head out there. Okay, so let's decorate this first. I've got a piece of design. This is Gorgeous Grape cardstock, by the way, more purple. I've got a piece of Gorgeous Grape cardstock. I have popped this one through the Pretty Flowers embossing folder, so that's been through the embossing folder already. I really love that embossing folder. It's one of my favorites this time round. It is 1/8 of an inch smaller, so it's actually, it'll be 3 7/8 by, I've got bits of cardstock all over me, 3 7/8 by 5 3/8, that one would be. So that's going to sit on top of that. But again, we're going to have to give this a little bit of a nick out as well, just so it matches the lines of the pocket itself. So I'm just again going to grab my little tailored tags punch halfway through as much as I can, make sure I'm as central as I can, and give that one a little nick as well. And if I've done that correctly, those two little nicks should line up with each other, and they do. So that's pretty good there, see? So we've got sort of the same lines of our little V that's been cut out there. So I might as well just glue this on now. Actually, I might double-sided tape because it's quite a deeply embossed folder. Or I'll get my snail out. Where's my snail? Here we go. So I might find that sort of why aren't you working? This is a new refill. It should work perfectly. What's wrong with you? Unless it isn't my new one. I know I've got two and one of them is not new. What's happened there? Yep, I might have to fix that one and come back to it. Let's go back to double-sided tape. I might have picked up the older snail rather than the new one. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some double-sided tape. So this, you don't need to you're not trying to form a pocket or anything on this one. We're just purely sticking it to the pocket. So just add some bits there. So I hope everyone's had a great week so far. It's only Tuesday morning here in Australia. First day of autumn. Always sort of makes me a little bit sad when the summer is officially over, although we do get here in Tassie get the nicest weather sort of towards the end of our autumn, or end of our summer is a lot nicer, sometimes a lot more settled. But anyway, yes, it was good. I can actually take my dog onto our local beach now. The dogs are actually banned from the beach during the summer period, so can actually take her down during the day now. Although I did take her for a walk this morning. Took her for a walk this morning and came back and was so tired I went back to bed. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm not used to exercise first thing in the morning. It's a bit freaky. So that's why I was a little bit disorganized this morning, because I actually went back to bed and fell asleep after our 7 a.m. walk this morning. Okay, so we've got that there. Oh, someone's at the door. What am I going to do? Hang five, guys. I'd have to see who's at the door. I'm back. So sorry about that. That was just a friend returning some of my stamp sets that she'd borrowed, so I had to grab those from her. But anyway, back now. Sorry about that. Anyway, so we've got our little pocket all done. We've got our embossed gorgeous grape panel on there, so that's fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do to the rest of this front is I've got these little doilies. Now these are the doilies that come with the suite. They've got the packet has two colours. It has a misty moonlight and a one I assume is a cinnamon cider. So very, very cute and very nice. With this one, I don't actually want the colour. I'm going to actually turn it round and just use the white side. You could actually cut yourself a doily with the encircled with beauty or something like that, but I quite like the little design, so I'm going to stick with the bundle and use that little doily there. I have also, and I've probably done this a slight halfway around, I have actually die cut and coloured myself one of the main images from the stamp set as well. So I've already stamped that, die cut it and coloured it. So we have that there, but don't panic, I will do another one so you guys can actually watch me. Because I say, I have got a slightly different way of colouring this, which I think you'll probably be interested in. So anyway, so I'll pop the doily on there. As much as it breaks my heart to cover over my beautiful misty moonlight. So misty moonlight, cinnamon cider. What other colours are we losing? Magenta Madness, Bumblebee and Just Jade are our colours that will be retiring at the end of April. So if you love those colours and you want to stock up on cardstock, ink, ribbons, all those sorts of things, please pop your order in before the end of April or they will be gone. Well, actually, do it as soon as you can because they will sell out once the catalogue, once the end of year sort of sales go live. Okay, so I'm going to add our little bunch of flowers on top of that like that. I'm actually going to pop that on dimensionals. So I'll grab my dimensionals. So I'll pop some of those around. Anyone watching who comes to classes, that was actually Tammy dropping off those stamp sets and things. She borrowed them to do a wedding card. So she did a lovely wedding card with the, what was it, artistically inked bundle. And yeah, she did it in sort of these sorts of, or sort of misty moonlight sort of colours and purples and things, which I sort of thought, it's not what I would traditionally put down as a wedding card, but it looked really, really nice. So, you know, you can't be stuck to tradition really because, yeah, everyone likes something different. And she said this was perfect for the bride that she was making the card for because she loved those sorts of purple colours. Okay, so we've got our little flower pocket decorated there. Now I have a stitched rectangle that I'm going to use for my sentiment. I'm going to use the same one as I did with the sample card, which is the thank you. Now, the thank you from this one actually has thank you for inspiring me. So I'm not really interested in that for inspiring me part. So I'm going to mask that off with some masking tape. You can use washi tape, whatever it is that you use to do your masking. So I'm just going to grab a wee bit of masking tape, cover over the for inspiring me part. And that's what I'm going to use to stamp, to ink up anyway. So there we are. So I'll pop that on my block. Going to ink it in Gorgeous Grape. What else? It has to be Gorgeous Grape. So ink that up first of all, and then if you're unlike me, you're always like me, I always forget to remove the masking tape, so I always end up stamping some blur anyway, but you do have to remove the masking tape because that's the whole point of masking. So many times I've done that. I'm just going to bring that down a little bit closer to me so I can get straight. This purple, all these purple cards that I've been doing are for a group swap, where the only criteria for the swap is that the cards have to be purple. And so as I mentioned to the guys in the team meeting last night, I have done so many purple cards, or thankfully I had a few. Purple seems to be the colour I've used lately, but I think I've had to make, I've made about 10 purple cards over the last week or so. So I'm quite purpled out, if you can be such a thing, quite purpled out. I'm not actually looking at my chat. I'm sorry about that, guys. I should be looking at the chat. Let's have a look. Who have we got on? Jan. Good morning, Jan. And Sally and Kay and Sue from Wisconsin. Dawn, Judy from Canada. Hey, Judy. And Sarah Jane is there. Sarah Jane's part of my team. We had some exciting news for Sarah Jane, or Sarah. What do you prefer, Sarah? Sarah or Sarah Jane? And Naomi's watching from work. Oh, you're going to get in trouble there, Naomi. Oh, you're self-employed, aren't you? So that's okay. Yeah, so Sarah is part of my little team, the Chatty Stampers, and she just reached her first level quick start, which means she gets some nice freebies from Stampin' Up. So well done. Sort of a brand new stamper, brand new card maker. She's doing really, really well in our little team. You'll have to pop your card up from last night, Sarah, so we can all have a bit of a look once you've finished it. Okay, so there we are. That's my little thank you on there. As I say, I didn't want the whole kit and caboodle of the for inspiring me. Just the plain thank you is plenty for this one. As I say, this is going to be a swap card, so I wanted it fairly sort of, what's the word, generic. Okay, so while we're here, I might as well do this whole front. I'm going to put some bling on it, of course. Where would we be without bling? I'm just going to use my iridescent gems and pop them around the place. Just 3 little ones, just there. Okay, so that's the card, the front of our little pocket, all done. So now we're going to do the part that we pop in here, and I'll actually show you how I've coloured those flowers as well. So we'll pop that aside, make sure I can find the rest of my stuff. Here we go. So for the inside, I've got another piece of gorgeous grape, and this piece has been designed so that it will fit inside the card, inside the pocket, and just match up completely smoothly at that end. So it's actually, so whereas our card was 5.5 long, this one is 5 1/8 long, and our card was 4 wide, and this one is 3 7/8 wide. And so on top of that, I've got a piece of our very pretty friendly hello celebration freebie designer series paper. So I'm using this sort of, what colour would that be? That would be a fresh freesia pattern on that side. And it's got the pretty flowers on the other side, but I'm using this fresh freesia side, and I'm just going to glue those two together. Then we have to give this little insert a little handle to pull itself out, to pull out with, just so that it comes out freely when you give it to your lucky recipient. And to do that, I'm just going to grab a normal old hole punch. I think they've had this one since primary school, so I've probably had this one for 50 years. It's definitely pre-Stampin' Up days. I'm just going to punch a single hole as close to the center as I possibly can in that. So just a little hole in the end there. And then I've got some fresh freesia ribbon. I knew I had it somewhere. So this is the fresh freesia in color ribbon, just to match the paper there. Just going to double that over and pop the loop end through the hole and feed it through. Oh, it wants to stick to my sticky fingers too. Pop it through, make a little loop, feed the ends back through, and that's going to be our little handle, I suppose, or pull tab, I suppose you'd call it. I may trim it down, it's quite long, but at the moment I'll just leave it long, just like that. So we've just got a little bit of ribbon there. So you can see what happens when you pop it in the card. It'll pop down to the end, and then you've got that little pull string to pull it back out again. And it fits nice and snug as well, so you don't want it too loose. You don't want it to sort of fall out if it gets jiggled, but so it fits nice and tight. That's, with the measurements that I've given you there. Okay, so a couple more things to do to this one. We're not going to put any bling or dimensionals on this one because obviously it's fitting in the slip, so we don't want it to have any width whatsoever. So I've got another stitched rectangle here. So I think it's the size up from the one we used on the front. It's just missed a little bit of the thing there. So I'm going to pop that on there. And this little flower is the other flower from the stamp set. It's this one here. And I'm going to colour this one, and I'm going to show you how I coloured the originals as well, which is a little bit different for me, although everybody says they've been doing it for ages. So anyway, a technique that's slightly new to me. So what I'm going to do is grab my ink pads. So my fresh freezer I'll start with. Grab just an ink block, pop some colour onto the ink block straight from the ink pad. Grab my Wink of Stella and just use the Wink of Stella as a watercolour brush. And it's just so pretty, and the brush is just so fine and so delicate that you get these really lovely sort of nice fine sort of strokes from it. And it just feels so nice in your hand. I find it's just, yeah, I've fallen in love with this. In fact, this technique of colouring is what I'm suggesting for the next product class. So as part of the product class, I'm going to suggest that you all buy a Wink of Stella as well. So I'll pop that into the options for the class. If you haven't got a Wink of Stella, I'll sell you one as part of the class at a discount. So watch out for that. But it's just so nice. Okay, so we've got that. That's the sort of darker part of the flower. And again, I think as I mentioned the other day, the stamp tells you which parts should be dark and which parts should be light because it's actually got sort of dark shading on there as well. So what I'm going to do is where I've got it dark, I'll go over it, and then where I want it a bit lighter, once the ink's run out a wee bit, I'll just continue up and use it like a blending brush. You've got a light and a dark version of a blending Stampin' Blend. So it's the same thing with this. I'm just using, the only pain of it is if you run out of ink before you're finished, you just use a lighter. Once it's a little bit drier of ink, a little bit lighter, you can continue that blending down. So that's basically, and you get not only colour, but you get a really cute little shine as well, which is a bit hard to see in the light of this room at the moment. It's just all blur. But anyway, that's how I'm going to colour those, and that's how I coloured that first flower. I thought I'd do that one first because obviously it was a lot bigger and going to take a lot longer. Okay, so that's my, what was that one? Fresh freezer. So the other little flowers on here, I'm going to use, this is sort of like an homage to the current in colours, so the ones that aren't retiring. So this one is Pale Papaya, which is one of my favourites. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Yes, this is Pale Papaya. My block's a little bit dry. I'm actually waiting for my refill, my refill to come, but it's fine for this. So I'm just again letting the stamp tell me where the dark bits should be, and using the full strength ink Wink of Stella blend there, and then where it's paler, I'll use a more dilute ink. So you saw there, I got some more ink on there and just splodged it off onto my a grid paper to pale it, to get rid some of the ink off. Not quite as much as I should have there. So you get that two-tone effect. There's just one little flower that needs the Pale Papaya treatment on that one. And these little flowers here on the original, I did as, where is it? It's gone missing. Here we go. Polished pink. So another one of our non-retiring in colours, just one of the exciting things about this time of year is seeing what the new in colours will be. So we're looking forward to seeing what the 2022, 2024 in colours will be. So yeah, it's always something to look forward to. Last year they made a little series of hints and clues for us in the lead up to them being released. So maybe they'll do the same thing again this year. I hope we get something back, another sort of a light blue, similar to our, what was it called? Seaside Spray. I still do miss the Seaside Spray from a couple of years ago. So do any of you have anything on your wish list for in colours for the coming 2 years? As I say, I would love my Seaside Spray back. So what are you guys looking forward to? So that's I think that's it. Yep, that's my polished pink. Now my flowers, I'm going to continue in the theme of current in colours. I'm using soft succulent for my leaves and stems. A little bit more ink on my block. Grab my, oh, it's still got pink on it. That's not going to work. That's it. And just brushing I'm not going to worry too much about the shading on the leaves, because this one, they're all so tiny. There's not a lot of area to blend. So these are the same colours I used on the bigger flower for the front. Nearly done. Has anyone said anything about their favourite in colours or what's on their wish list? No, not yet. But I'm sure most of you would love to see the Seaside Spray back. What else have we lost that we really liked? Oh, there was a really nice pink. I can't remember. Oh, the pink that one of my other ladies really likes. Jenny really likes. That was Purple Posy. Was it? No, Purple Posy. No, I can't remember what it was. If Jenny Christmas is watching, what was that colour? That pink that you really like? Okay, so there we are. So that's the, just give that a bit of a clean off. That's the colouring for this one. So as I say, that's a technique using your Wink of Stella pen. And thankfully I have a couple of backup Wink of Stella pens, because I've been going through them like it's the end of the world as we know it. So yeah, so definitely do that. Here we go. Oh, I've still got their little centres to do. So that's the colouring that you get with your Wink of Stella and ink. And if you were here, you could see that that's quite shimmery, but it's a bit tricky over the camera. I've still got to colour the little centres of the flowers. And to be honest, I've cheated a wee bit on this, and I haven't used Wink of Stella, but I have just used my blends. So I'm using light So Saffron in the centre of the big flat pink flower, and I'm using light Pumpkin Pie on the inside of this pale papaya one. And I actually haven't done, I might just leave those other little guys white, just leave their centres white. So there's the colouring of that one. Nice and pale and sort of pastel colours, so that's nice. Okay, so we're so close to finishing this one now. So I'm going to just stamp again in Gorgeous Grape. Put those aside, grab my Gorgeous Grape again. I'm going to get that out of the way in case we have a horrible accident. I'm going to grab this time another one out of the stamp set that says, "You are a real blessing to everyone around you." So that's so nice. You are a real blessing to everyone around you. And I'm going to pop it normally, well, I don't know about you guys, but normally my sentiment boxes would be that way, horizontally. I'm actually going to pop this one vertically and pop the sentiment on that. It's going to bug me now until I work out what that purple was. That really nice purple. It's not purple posy. It's oh dear. I know I've got the ink pad around here somewhere. Anyway, I'll wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. It'll come into my head, won't it? Anyway, so I'm just stamping this one, trying to get it as straight as I can, which is a little bit trickier up the other way. Yep, that's not too bad. So I've got, you are a real blessing to everyone around you. Don't we all strive for that? Especially these days. Okay, so let's grab our little insert back, make sure I'm putting it the right way up. I'm going to bring the sentiment in first, just glue that on. As I said, not going to go any dimensionals or bling or anything on the inside of this because you basically don't want it to have any depth. Since it's got a slip in your little slip. So there we are. So that's, you are a real blessing. Then just grabbing this and popping that next to it. So it's slightly overlapping, but sort of kissing the sentiment box a bit, snuggling in around that sentiment there. Oh, moved. There we are. And there's the centre. I think that's a pretty little card on its own, don't you think? It's really, really nice. So there we are. So that's the inside of our little slip. And we pop back in our pocket. Once it's dry, of course, I won't go too crazy now. Pop that in there, slip it in, and that's our little card there. So there we are. Really, 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 really like this one. I did actually get should give credit where credit's due. Did actually get the original decoration idea from a video on YouTube from Kylie Bertucci, but she did hers as a much more elaborate fun fold card, so I've simplified it down a bit and changed the colours and a lot of the techniques as well. So there we are. So credit where credit's due, but I think that's really, really nice. Might trim those ends down a wee bit. They're a bit long, but I'll do that later. Okay, so there is our card for today. So we've done a little pocket card with our current in colours, and I suppose the highlight of it is doing that colouring with your Wink of Stella. So if you think your Wink of Stella is just for show, it's definitely not. It's for colouring as well. So thanks so much for watching me today, guys. I might have to go and have a cup of coffee now and recover from my early morning walk with my beautiful little Ruby, who's a bit of a handful. There's our cards for today. So if you're in our purple swap, you may well get one of those in the purple swap this month round in our little group. And as I say, if you want to give this one a go, please look out for my March product class, because we're going to be doing the sort of blue version of that one in the class this month. So watch out for that on Facebook. Okay, thanks again, guys. Have a great day, and I will catch you all